I had zero freaking fun today. It was just all thermodynamics. Oh my God. Luckily, it's over. I was able to somehow assimilate all the information from the notes and whatever else, hold on to it for just a moment, put it down on the exam, and then be done. Oh, yeah. So this is one little aspect of dieting where I like cutting during the semester, because if I were to have been on my bulk right now, then I wouldn't have been able to dedicate so much time to just sitting and actually doing work, because I'd have to get some food prepped. Now, I'm not saying it's hard, or I'm not saying it's impossible to balance bulking with school, but if you're a serial procrastinator, I don't want to call myself out, but if you're prone to leaving shit for the last minute, then you don't want to have to compromise, your lifts and your dieting for studying. But, really all I'm trying to say is lifting should take a little bit of priority, and the responsible lifter can balance out his real responsibilities, eating his food and hitting the gym, with his other responsibilities like school and work and whatever. But luckily I didn't have to eat a ton of food. All I had to do was kind of snack on stuff. But then, enough of this talk. Let's focus on what really matters. What do I want to do for back? I just took the pre 5 minutes ago. I can really feel the beta alanine getting me in the ears. In terms of my preparation, today I am not as prepared for the lift as I should be. I definitely did not drink enough fluids today, like a total fool. So when I finished that exam, I went straight to the vending machine. I got two little electrolyte drinks. It was just Propels, so I don't think they're really, stocked full of everything I'd want, but better than nothing for sure. And then I mixed a little electrolyte packet into the pre of, 2 scoops of Bloodshot, 1 scoop of Hostility, and then 10 grams of beta alanine. So give it another 15 minutes by the time I get in there for my first working set, and all that shit should be working its magic. But back, I don't know. When I think about my back, typically I'd say it's reasonably developed compared to everything else on my frame. It's definitely not a weak point. And in lat spread, it's fucking freaky, pretty wide. But I want some thicker lats in terms of the width. When I do a double bicep shot, I want my lats to flare out more. You know what I'm talking about? So maybe no, because then I also want thicker traps and mid back too. I think I'm just trying to say I want a bigger back in general. But I think if let's say your traps are huge and your lats are slacking, then maybe you should kind of bias pull down movements and pullover movements while you're lifting, or while you're hitting back. But for the most part, I think you're probably just best off doing an even mix of rows and pull downs / pullovers. Definitely rows and pull downs first, just because they're the heavy compound lift, so to speak, right? The same reason I wouldn't want to start off back with a set of pullovers. Well, I wouldn't want to start off back with a set of pullovers for the same reason that I wouldn't want to start off chest with a set of, pec flies. Apart from just a couple of sets as, just a warm up, kind of get some blood in the area, not real working sets. I think you're best off targeting whatever muscle you're about to hit when it's fresh, with a movement where you can put as much tension as possible. So for chest, I like to start off with pretty heavy pressing. And back, same shit, just in reverse, right? Heavy pulling. But by the time I do 8 sets total of a couple of pull downs, machine rows, maybe some dumbbell rows, I'm kind of staying away from bent over barbell rows right now, just because, when I'm cut, kind of just in general, I don't want to sound like, I don't want this to sound goofy, but I'm just like less powerful in a sense. So for me, I can feel my lower back getting a lot more fatigue when I do bent over barbell rows on a cut than when I do on a bulk. So I stick towards a little bit more isolative movements, like chest supported rows and stuff like that. That's the same reason why I don't deadlift in general. Because sure, you're hitting your lats and your traps, but you're also working a ton of glutes and hamstrings. You know, I'm in a bodybuilding context. I just don't think it's, I'll say this, it's not necessary. It's not inherently bad either. So do with that information what you will. I forgot I can park in the actual parking lot at night, but let's just jump to the first working set of whatever and actually get this lift started. I don't think there's any need for commentary before this one. Okay. Oh. I'll discuss the form in a moment. Let's just do 2 more. Okay. All right. So, in the same sense that I don't mind doing hamstring curls to the point where I can barely even move the weight at the top of the set or at the top of the rep. All right? Same logic with pull downs, you know? If you end the set just because you can't, get to chin height with the bar, I just think your lats can take more punishment than that. Do whatever you want to do in terms of your style of training. But, I think going until form breakdown is not a bad path to take. So let's do some rows of some variety. Not only am I going to do a different style of movement for back, right? Obviously it's the row, but it's using the same handle. I'm also going to change up the performance of the reps. This sets of pull downs, my main goal is just put as much tension on my lats as possible for, reasonable range of motion. But the squeeze at the bottom of the rep, it just wasn't as intense as I could get if I go a little bit lighter. So this set will be a bit lighter, more controlled, and I'm really trying to touch my elbows behind my back, if you get what I'm saying. One more. Okay. All right. Oh. Honestly, I think that the drop sets are most effective at just improving your pump. So that was kind of my mentality with that one. Just pump up the traps a little bit more before I move on to, honestly, probably the finishing movement. Well, I was thinking about finishing with just single arm pullovers, but honestly, I kind of wanted to do another rowing movement. So I love doing single arm cable rows, like kind of standing bent over on, like, you know, a cable like this. What kind of fucks me though is with this one, the cable attachment is like, it's just too fucking high up. If I stand on the ground, I won't be able to get a good stretch. So I think one set here, feet elevated, to give me that solid range of motion that I know all you science-based lifters love. I like it too. Enough of that, whatever. Let's just get 2 of these done. Or no, 1 set of these done, and then pullovers. And then I think this is going to be a freaky pump. I'm kind of excited. Well, I'm always excited, but I might be extra excited now. Okay. All right. Let's get 1 set of dumbbell pull-up. No. Whew. 1 more set of single arm cable pullovers, and then be done. I prefer the cable rows like this over, like, bent over dumbbell rows. I feel like I can't build up so much momentum, which on a movement like this where I'm trying to go slow and squeeze, I like. Okay. All right, let's hit the posing room. I'm pretty freaking excited for this pump, honestly. After that second set of cable rows, I could just kind of feel some extra, I almost want to call it mid-lat pump. Hard to say. Definitely, I would attribute some of this pump to those slower squeezing movements. You know, maybe I should stop being so brutish and do some slow, controlled squeezing sets more often. That probably wouldn't hurt my training. Well, that probably wouldn't hurt my progress, I mean. All right. So lift is not over. I'm still going to do rear delts and calves, but a little bit of a pump check hiatus. Or, not a hiatus. What am I trying to... Whatever. Doesn't matter. Dude, I feel like my brain is just fried right now from a full day of fucking looking over equations and other stupid stuff. Dude, this is fucking badass. Fuck. Oh. All right, same thing from the back. Oh. Okay. Oh. Do I take the pump cover off, or do I take the stringer off to get the full back shot? I think I have to. I think I freaking have to. But I mean, I got this pumped after only, 8 sets. Sure, I did a drop set for 1, but like, I think straight sets are just the way to go. So let's see. Oh my God. I wish I had a mirror right here. Oh, oh yeah. Oh. Dude, even just holding poses pumped is fucking... I feel like I'm sweatier now than I was before I started posing. Oh, but back complete. Let's just go spam some rear delts of a few varieties. All right, so plan for at least the first 4 sets of rear delts is just these laying face pulls. I talk about this every time I do them. It's just so much easier to execute when you get to lay down and you don't have to worry about balancing. But, with rear delts, I'm not trying to load up an insane amount of weight. Like when I did that light set of seated rows and I was really just trying to get a squeeze and burn. Same thing with the pullovers. That's all I'm trying to do here as well. So if you've been skipping rear delts, dude, at least do 8, light burning sets. You don't have to go that crazy. You got to think about this. I'm not saying that you should compromise your training, but any amount of stimulation is better than none. Same thing goes for calves. Same thing definitely goes for cardio, but I know you guys don't like when I bring that up. So 4 sets of this, and I'll either move on or just do another 4 and have this be the only movement. Okay. Oh. All right. So again, like I was saying, not necessarily to absolute mechanical failure, but just until I kind of feel like it was a solid burn. My rear delts are fully pumped. We got to go check it out. But one thing that I have been thinking to myself too when I do these is I'm not just trying to rotate around my shoulder joints, you know what I'm talking about? But I'm almost trying to pull the handle apart as I'm coming towards my face with it. But, whatever sort of mental situation you have to imagine to get your rear delts firing, that's what you should do. And half of this whole mind-muscle connection shit, it's all just from experience. You're never gonna hear someone describe to you how to pop your pecs individually. You kind of just have to learn it on your own. So let's find some decent lighting, check the pump, and then do calves. I'll actually record a little bit of it too. Good lighting for back and rear delt posing. It must be my freaking birthday today. Typically this space is a very hot commodity. Like, people just love being in here doing whatever they do. Not that they're not allowed to, I'm just being a hater because, I want to use it, right? But let's see what 8 sets of just, face pulls of moderate intensity did for me. Now, I will say I'm a little spoiled when it comes to my shoulder training because my shoulders are ahead of the curve in terms of my physique, so they don't need an insane amount of work. But, oh, dude. See what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. All right, so like I was saying, dude, look, the rear delt is just fucking creeping over the top of the tricep. Ooh. Let's see how the left one's looking too. Oh, yeah. You see, that little shadow way over here? That's what I'm fucking aiming for. I want the back of my shoulders to be just as, bulbous and round as the front, just so they have kind of an even fucking round look. So let's I guess there's not really any dedicated poses for rear delts, but maybe side chest ought to look pretty good. Yeah, see, dude, the fucking rear delt is just creeping past the tricep. Sick. All right. Yeah, same thing on the side try. They should be poking out pretty crazy in the rear delt, or in the back lat spread too. Oh, okay. So, back. Oh, dude. I must have a residual bicep pump. We'll just get, holy shit. That's one thing you got to be careful about when you do like a big breath hold and then you flex and like get all your veins poking out. You can get fucking lightheaded, man. I just kind of felt that a little. You know, I've never passed out from flexing, but you know, if you sit here and take a huge breath post-workout, really do some shit like that. I mean, that's why deadlifts, you know, that's the same logic on how people pass out in their deadlift or like squat. You know what I'm saying? So flex at your own risk. I'm gonna go get calves going. Well, I'm not gonna record every set of calves. I just made you watch 8 sets of the exact same movement in a row. I'll just give you one and then we can do a calf pump check. Whoops, I guess you couldn't hear any of that, so I'll go ahead and reiterate. Pretty much all I was saying was I think your calves are gonna benefit from relatively frequent stimulation. Like if you do calves on a consistent basis, they shouldn't be sore 2 days after you hit them. So a good rule of thumb that I've been following is if your calves aren't sore, you know, at the end of my lifts, 8 sets, single leg, get a pump, just kind of burn out. Perfect. I always do one leg at a time too, just because when I do both at once, I always feel like my right calf takes over. So just kind of maintain an even balance of workload. I'll do one at a time. But that was set number 6. I've been sitting here for a while. 2 more, and then we go check the pump, see if the calves look any cooler than normal. Here's as good a place as any. These sweatpants actually can unzip into shorts, but I think that would be fucking stupid because then I'm gonna have to just re-zip them. It's not really conducive to a short-term calf check. Ideally, I want my calves to get big enough, or I'll have to take off these bottom sections of the pants just so that I don't rip them. But there's some calves going on. This lighting isn't the absolute craziest, but there's a little something. They're definitely pumped for sure. Even just sitting here, like I can feel that there's extra tension in the back. So, you know, not nothing for sure. Calves definitely aren't a weak point for me, but I guess they're not really jumping out at you either. That's definitely not a bad situation. But if your calves are really slacking, I'm telling you, you can do something about it. Or you can at least try, you know. I think jumping straight to, oh, calves are all genetic, you know, I think that's a little bit of a cop-out. At least try to grow them, you know. So, let's just get in the freaking car. I would be freaking lying if I told you that I thought that the back pump was going to be as good as it ended up being. But, you know, even though I did go into the gym with that preconception, I didn't let that affect the intensity that I brought to the sets. You know, I still pushed it as hard as I could. Well, actually, that's probably not true. I totally could have gone harder. You can always go harder. You know, we get it. But you should definitely be pushing yourself every time you go into the gym on your sets. Some days you might be on your game a little bit more than others. Right, but for the most part, the more often you can go to the gym and not just go through the motions, the better. The freaking better. So, yeah, I've been liking this 8 set limit. You know, I was doing 11 before, but honestly, I mean, the pumps have been pretty sick. So I think I may have been doing unnecessary volume. You know, I'm not saying that 11 sets wouldn't work in terms of stimulating the muscle, but pretty much how I think about the volume of a single lift, it kind of goes something like this. It's kind of like a graph of effectiveness, like a bell curve ish. Obviously, 0 reps, or no, what am I saying? 0 sets, 0 gains, right? You're not stimulating jack. Now, if you do 1 set, you're stimulating the muscle a little. You do 2, probably a little more. And I think up here where it really peaks, that's probably around maybe 5 to 10, somewhere in that range. Because typically a little bit of a cue that I use to decide whether or not I'm done with the workout is if I got a pump or not. And by the time I've done so and so amount of legit working sets, and I can tell I'm fully pumped, I can say with reasonable satisfaction, like, okay, that was a good lift, I can go. Now, usually I'll still, well, not even usually, I've been doing like 11 on the dot, like 11 sets of curls, 11 sets of push downs, 11 sets of chest. And that's across all movements, added up. So that could be 2 sets of dumbbell curl, 2 sets of barbell curl, 2 sets of preacher, and 2 sets of machine curl, something like that. But it'll all add up to 11. That's what I'm trying to say there. So, but, if I'm in a rush and I have to cut the workout short, I'm still relatively satisfied if I only get, 6 hard sets in. A couple of months ago, or not months, weeks ago, I had to cut arms short. So tries ended up being only 8 sets, and I only did 6 sets of curls for buys. But I mean, the pump was almost indistinguishable from, my full 11 set workout. It's not like I think that just getting pumped is the only indicator of a good lift, because I could just sit here with the 10-pound dumbbells and probably get a solid bicep pump eventually. I think you also need some weight to stimulate the muscle, but for the most part, if you do some hard, heavy sets and end with a pump, your volume's probably effective. Now, is it absolutely perfect? Maybe not, but honestly, whose workouts are absolutely perfect? You should definitely try to improve them over time, right? I want my training to become more and more pinpointed at just hitting my bicep in the, as good as I can do it. But you're never going to actually get it perfect. And I think some people get a little bit, I don't know, what's the word I'm trying to think of here? Some people get a little bit antsy about the way that they train. Like when people preach a specific training method or style or whatever, and they're saying like, this is the best way to do it, hey, they might be right, but definitely not for everybody. Everybody can benefit from very specialized training. So that's why, don't just listen to Joe Schmo on what he says. Maybe that counts as me too. Don't just listen to me on everything I fucking say. Take it as information, right? Try to digest it, understand. Like when I tell you that shit I was talking about with the rear delts and like trying to squeeze them on those face pulls, don't just assume everything I say is factual, right? Think about it. Think to yourself, okay, Sam, this makes a little bit of sense, but do I only believe it because he's bigger than me? Just because someone's bigger than you doesn't mean they know everything. And just because someone's smaller than you doesn't mean they don't know anything. Right? It's up to you to kind of decipher whether or not this specific exercise that this guy's preaching is good or if it's fucking stupid, and that's on you. That is freaking on you. So plan now. We'll just end it with the car talk, but it's 10:25, so I'm going to stop at Kroger because I need some, I need something. I don't remember what. I'll just do a scan. I definitely need some more Sprite Zero. I'm out of that, so that's at least one thing on the list that I know I need. But, probably just re-up on some other calorie smart options for foods, I'll look around for some. I've been liking these. It looks exactly like a microwavable rice packet, but instead of rice, it's just like cubed cauliflower. So, I mean, it's really just chopped vegetables, but, heat that up, add some hot sauce, mix that up with some, let's say, ground beef or whatever else. I could use some of that, some ground beef. I mean, with the vegetables, sure, they've got macronutrients a little. I honestly think you're fine if you just do your multivitamin and, eat some red meats. You're probably going to hit your micronutrient goals pretty effectively. Plus, your multivitamin, whatever. But for the most part, with the vegetables, like I've been doing salads and whatnot. Uh, Actually, yeah, I guess really just salads. That's the only kind of shit I've been doing. And I'm not eating it because it's conventionally healthy. It's just volume without any calories. So it's like filling, but it's not hitting me hard on the stupid simple macro tracker in terms of my daily caloric intake. So tomorrow is going to be arms. Arms is always a good freaking day. Not extremely exhausting of a lift. Plus, I just like it. Honestly, I like all this shit, man. When people talk about what's your favorite lift, I mean, they're all different. It's like whatever. So, the more that you can kind of wire your brain to get excited about every lift, leg day, back day, chest day, whatever, right? That's going to do you good. I guarantee it. So, I'm going to go to Kroger and then go. So here's my schedule for the foreseeable future. Kroger, home, shower, food, sleep, cardio. This is what's separating me from you fucking chump. Okay, that might not be the only thing, but I know you're not doing your cardio. I'll see you next time.